Hey, what's up, guys? Second video of the day here. It's about 8:30. Just got off work a little bit ago, but I'm gonna go over what I think is the best reel out there going from any price range. Now, here on the channel, you've seen me have Metaniums, you've seen me have Chronarchs, you've seen me have Daiwa Tatulas, you've seen me have the Lose Team Light, you've seen me have Japan reels from Shimano. Only things you ain't seen me have is 13 Fishing, Abu Garcia. That is the main ones out there that y'all ain't seen me have. Well, I have had that. I started off with a Abu Garcia Black Max and Silver Max, but that is not what I'm going over. The best reel I've ever had, hands down, is by far a Daiwa Tatula. Now, I like that if I can get it out. I like the Tatula CT 100HS. That's a high speed and that's a 100 size. I also like the standard 100s and the 150s. I've had one of the 200s. I liked it. It held a lot of line, but I'm not a big fan of the SV. For $200, it wasn't what I was wanting. So it cut out in the middle of a cast. My others didn't. I set them up with the same line, same rod, same action, same bait, and everything, and it just wasn't what I was wanting. Well, that is the best reel, hands down, for the price. Now, my all-time favorite reel I've ever owned in my life is a Shimano Chronarch MGL 150. I love that reel. I loved it better than a Metanium. You couldn't give me a Metanium for two of the Chronarchs. Or vice versa. I just loved that Chronarch that much. The best setup I've ever had was a Shimano Zodius 7'2" medium heavy and that Chronarch MGL. Throwing 1/8 ounce swim baits, bombing them down the bank, boat flipping 3 and 4 pound bass. Just crazy. And I done that last spring. Um, but outside of the Chronarch, the reels I hope to be running this season, I'm actually working towards getting them back like I did. I had 9 of these reels at one time, and that is a Daiwa Tatula. I'm going to stay away from the SVs, and I may get one Steez, I may not. But I'm looking to trade all my reels off with the exception of my cheap Lose. That's going to be my A-Rig rod and reel. But I'm going back to tools. Cast them in the wind, no backlash. They are very smooth. They cast a mile like they are any fisherman's dream. They make it so much more comfortable, and like Daiwa's got their crap together, honestly, because you can't have a business or anything if your customer is not satisfied or if you don't do something to set yourself aside of everybody. Well, in my opinion, Luz and Abu Garcia, they're like that. They are right there side by side. Luz is a better reel. They do make them better components. They just hold up more. But how their drags are, how their tension knobs, and how their braking system all goes into one reel, they're like that. I'm not comparing them. I'm just going over how the whole reel is as a total. 13 Fishing, they set themselves way apart. Core Kennels, their trick shop, like they are in left field. Like it's just amazing what they done. Shimano, great company, been around for years, very well known. People want the best of the best, they look at Shimano. They instantly say, well, Metanium, Aldebaran, Antares, or I said Antares, I meant Antares, Chronarchs, Corrados, and now that SLX is coming on heavy and more heavier. So I think they are going to be focusing on that price point of the SLX. Well, you see people getting the SLX and not much of the Corrados anymore. The Corrados that sells is people that's used Chronarchs for years and years and years and years, starting with the E7s. They picked them up. They used them. Then they went to a 200Is. They used them, loved them. Now they got the Ks. Well, some like them, some don't. Now they got the DCs out. No, they came out with the Corrado 70 before a DC. Well, they came out with the Corrado 70, a finesse reel, a good flipping reel. Well, now they come out with that DC. Well, after that Corrado DC, a lot of people start using it, and they loved it. Well, then Shimano comes out with the SLX DC. A lot of difference in price point. I think a SLX DC 189 and a Corrado DC 259. So you got a lot of play there. Well, I know you're talking about, well, them DCs have a computer chip in them. How can any company compete with a computer chip reel? It's supposed to make life so much easier. It's supposed to do this and that, and you can't backlash it. I've had one. I had the SLX DC. I traded it to my buddy that's no longer with us. Didn't like it. Really did not like it. The best reel I've ever had for wind and stuff overall was the Tatula. Anything Shimano has, I backlashed. Anything 13 has, backlashed it. Anything Abu has, backlashed it. Now, I'm not saying I ain't backlashed a Tatula. I mean, I've been out there and been stupid and tried to bomb a bait and backlash it. But if you use common sense, common judgment, you ain't got a problem. You put that Tatula on 11, that mag force dial on your left or your right, whichever side your handle's on, it'll be the opposite. So right hand retrieve, it'll be on the left. Left hand retrieve, it'll be on your right. So opposite of your tension knob and your handle. You put that on 11, and that's going to cover you for 80 to 90% of what you need. Well, me and my buddy, we like throwing them spooks top waters in the spring and summer. We use ours on 4. But you also got to look at, we have been using them since they came out. I literally had the first Tatula when they just launched the CTs. I hated it. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't cast it no further than probably 20 foot. I hated that reel. I ended up got rid of it to a Corrado 200i. Well, ended up, my buddy that I traded, he said, I love them. He said, do this to them and you won't have a problem. End up, I done that. Fell in love with them. I had 9 of them and then sold 2 of them. Had 7 of them. And then when I got that Chronarch MGL, it destroyed me. I remembered what a Shimano feel was like. And Shimano's like no other reel going. I remembered it. Well, I got rid of all my Daiwa Tatulas for Shimano's. I had Chronarch, Metanium, Corrados, SLX, and I think that's about it. I had 1 or 2, maybe 3 lose there for a minute. Well, ended up, I got to backlashing and backlashing and backlashing and backlashing. And they just can't cast into the wind like a Tatula can. I don't care what it is. I love a Tatula. That's personal preference. And I tell you what, now if this ain't enough to tell you, I gotta plug this up. But if this ain't enough to tell you how good a Daiwa Tatula is, my dad knows. I took 4-pound line, 4-pound line, with no leader, no backing, just spooled up 4-pound line all the way to the brim. Took me a short rod just to make it harder. I took 1 32 ounce jig head that I make and a bobber and went fishing, trying to catch a bluegill. End up, throw it out there, no backlash. In the yard, no backlash. Throwing it dead into the wind, no backlash. I took a little bitty jerk bait about that big, a Pointer SP on Cumberland. Its term, it was like 15, 20 mile an hour winds. I was backlashing every time with a Corrado with a half-ounce spinner bait on it. I took that with 10-pound line. Never backlashed the first cast. My dad can't throw a bait caster worth a crap. Flat out admit it, he can't. He'll tell you to your face he can't. I gave him that to Tula. He has a habit of throwing at the ground. End up, I put it on 20 for him. That's as high as it'd go. It won't go far on 20. End up, it hit the ground, no backlash. I said, Dad, cast up at the trees. He done that, no backlash. Put it on 18, no backlash. 16, no backlash. Put it on 11, and still no backlash. I literally let a 9-year-old girl cast it. Never had casted a bait caster in her life. Barely could throw a spinning reel. And no backlash. She casted it. And I was very proud that day. So, if you're a beginner angler, make sure to check out Dobble. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I wish I was, because that's all I'd run. But my setup that I am looking to get back is me an older Shimano Zodius rod in a 7'2" and a Chronarch MGL. I wouldn't recommend the CI4. It's just not as good as the MGL. I'm so sorry I'm looking away. But in my opinion, the CI4 is just not as good as the MGL. The MGLs are so much smoother, so much better caster and everything. It's really what you'd expect out of a $300 reel. But, with that being said, I'm looking to get that back and then to Tula's. The rods I'm going to use, I'm not really sure. I seriously ain't. I can't afford all G Loomis. Not even going to try that. I do like my Denelli rod. So, I'll probably pick up another one of them. The Riker rods, they're like $60. And see how sensitive their jig rod is. Like a 7-foot or 7'6". And see how light that is. See how I like it. See how sensitive. My A-rig rod's going to stay the Corrado. And then when I get another Zodius, that 13 rod at Fate Black, I don't know what I'll do with it. It's 7-1. I say I'll have it as a backup swim bait rod. Or a spinner bait rod. I'd say a spinner bait rod. But that's just me. I'm looking to get back all my Tatulas and a couple Chronarchs. But that's it. Metaniums, not going to have any. I may have 1 or 2 G Loomis, and that's it. So, that's just me, but make sure to check out Dobble. You will not be disappointed. But thank y'all for watching this. Make sure to check out Dog Patch, Saddlebrook, Kurt Singers, and Tackle Spot. But thank y'all for watching this. Y'all be sure to take care, drive safe on these frozen, icy, snowy roads. And make sure you give the Lord all your glory. But thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a good day.